This is Sports 225 with Lee Feinswag. Sports 225 with Lee Feinswag is Baton Rouge's longest running and best television show. Who would have believed that?
My best friend, Lee Feinswag, look at the Christmas.
Sports 225 is brought to you by Breck. Remember, it all starts at Breck. Now, your host, Lee Feinswag.
Oh, it's 2017 and two tired old sports writers coming at you because we're taping this on Tuesday morning after the national championship game. And did you fall asleep during the game?
No, up the whole way, all the way through.
I was in and out. I mean, it was, and luckily it was up for the end.
All the way through. I was in it. I didn't fall asleep like Alabama's defense did in the last drive, especially their defensive backs. I stayed awake the whole time, so it was good. It was good.
I thought going into the game that Alabama was a better team, but Clemson was playing better. And all things being equal, I mean, I didn't say this publicly and I didn't bet on it, so you just got to believe me that I really said this to some people. So I thought Clemson might win.
I was a genius last night until the final drive. I was on a radio show yesterday. Somebody asked me the final score. I said 31-28 Alabama.
Really?
Yeah, and I was a genius until, Clemson got the ball back. And that was all over after that. This is just a case where, you can't stay on the field for 99 plays as a defense and expect to win. And I put this on Alabama's offense, and I put it on Nick, deciding a week before the game to change offensive coordinators. I'm sorry.
Just thought, so I just threw into the show. It's a new year. We've been on break for about a month. Ron Higgins is here, and I thought to myself while he was talking, I never even said who he was or introduced him or anything. So for those of you watching for the first time, it's Ron Higgins from NOLA.com, the one they call Mad Dog.
Yes. So,
but anyway, before we get to the Mad Dog part,
I thought it was disruptive. I thought no matter what Nick doesn't like distractions, so he removes Kiffin, who he thinks is a distraction. But the guy who's been a voice in your freshman quarterback's head all year is gone before the biggest game of the year, and I thought Hurst looked totally. He didn't say unnerved, but he didn't play well, and I thought that Alabama didn't play well, especially after Scarborough got hurt. Sarkisian looked pretty clueless what he wanted to do. Alabama had 7 3-and-outs in the game. Alabama ran 66 plays. Clemson ran 99. 33 more plays. I mean, to me, that's a huge difference. You can't leave a defense on the field that long. And I just thought that was a mistake by Nick, even though he'll never admit it. And last night, he immediately after the game said, we scored 31 points. That's pretty good.
Sometimes, and in today's college football world, I mean, heck, that's just a halftime score in the Big 12.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I thought, it probably gave the rest of the SEC hope next year that, they bleed like what everybody else does. There's a chink in the armor. Especially for LSU fans, there's a lot of hope there because Dabo Swinney was interim coach when the Clemson hired him, and the thought was, we didn't get anybody with a bigger name. Oh my God, it'd be awful. Guy went to two national title games, won a national championship. Here's Ed Orgeron. We'll see what happens there. Also, Matt Canada put 43 points on Clemson this year as Pittsburgh's offensive coordinator. The only loss Clemson had. Another good point there. And finally, at the end, when it was all over, LSU held Alabama to less points than anybody this year with Dave Aranda. So LSU's feeling pretty good. The rest of the SEC's feeling pretty good. Let me tell you one thing. Nick Saban is out today recruiting because in his head, reviewing the deficiencies last night and going, I got to get this guy and get this guy and this guy. So, nah, they're not dead, but it makes you feel a bit better to see that, they can be had. But you have to have a Deshaun Watson as quarterback to have them.
And that's kind of the question I had for you leading into that. We are so top-heavy right now in college football, top-heavy in the SEC, top-heavy in college football as a rule, and quarterback deficient. It's the old Bill Fitch. Bill Fitch, who was one of the great NBA coaches, said once, when I coached in the NBA and there were 12 teams, there were 5 great centers. And now I'm coaching, there's 30 teams and there's 5 great centers. There just aren't, it doesn't seem to be a lot of good quarterbacks out there.
No, it's just, and it's amazing because there should be. because more and more of the training is tilted toward quarterbacks in high school. All these 7-on-7 tournaments in the summer, and these constant quarterback camps. So you should have better quarterbacks, you would think. Somehow in the SEC, I mean, they get some of them. I mean, look at some of the people having the pros. I mean, they put some in the pros, but as far as throughout the league, I guess we feel this way because we're looking in Baton Rouge. We haven't seen a good quarterback forever. Okay, I mean, haven't seen a
right.
Maybe what, Burt Jones, 71. Haven't seen a good.
That's a little rough, but when you see the kid for the Cowboys is from Louisiana,
Tommy Hodgson. Sorry, Tommy.
Yeah, in Prescott. Anyway, he's Ron Higgins. You can read him at NOLA.com. You can follow him at something Hig. Twitter.
At Ron Hig.
At Ron Hig.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. God, I don't know why when it comes to Twitter handles, my mind just goes totally blank.
You got to get on Twitter.
Here's, as my mother-in-law calls it, the Facebook. We got to take a break. We got all sorts of things to cover. I haven't seen Ron since before the holidays. You haven't seen us live since before the holidays, and we're back. What a scary thing for you. It's Sports 225, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Joe Martin, president of ITI Technical College, and I really encourage you to come out to our 12-acre campus here on Airline Highway in Baton Rouge.
Contact ITI to enroll in our Construction Management Associate and Occupational Studies degree program. Learn to plan, coordinate, budget, and supervise construction projects and collaborate with engineers and architects in the residential, commercial, industrial, and heavy civil construction industry sectors. Call now about this new, exciting career degree. ITI Technical College. Begin your journey to a better life.
We're back on Sports 225, the first show of 2017, and I hadn't seen Ron Higgins in quite a while. I referenced his nickname, Mad Dog. Not too many people, unless they know you from the old days, use that.
Well, still a lot of them do.
Yeah.
I'll be in an arena somewhere, they'll say, "Hey, Dog." I'll just turn around. Somebody I knew from high school or whatever, at your old Baton Rouge High, 1974, class 74.
So you mentioned saving out recruiting. If you're Alabama and you're looking at it, what do you think you need after last night?
Well, you're going to need some more running backs because they lost Bo Scarborough last night. They were kind of lost.
Yeah.
I mean, they depend on they love their power run game. They didn't have it after he left, and they kind of got in a quandary. I think they probably go back need to get a little bigger defensive backs. I thought they were a bit small last night. Nick likes big defensive backs, and they got abused on that last series of plays.
They sure did.
Badly.
Especially by big receivers.
Big receivers, yeah.
And to Clemson's credit, and Watson in particular, it's a beautiful, big time, big passes.
Oh yeah,
and receptions down
and
down
put them
the
in the places where his receivers could get to him, and the defenders didn't have a chance. I think those two right off the bat. But I mean, they're going to recruit great because they always do. They're always number one class in the nation or number two, and he'll go out and get people. He's got people waiting to step in.
Yeah.
I mean,
how? I don't believe that winning that game had to cement anything for him. I think Saban is the lead face on the Mount Rushmore of all-time great college football coaches. You can give me a couple others here and there, but to me, him, maybe Bud Wilkinson, Bear Bryant, of course. Although I still have always maintained that Bear Bryant played by a completely different set of rules.
I've tried to. That's a good debate because somebody had I maybe debated me on Facebook or whatever, and I tried to point out that no disrespect to Bear Bryant, but when Bear Bryant played, you could sign like 5,000 people. There was no scholarship limits.
Well, he took away the swimming and diving scholarships, for example, for football players. He's one of the reasons why the NCAA rulebook is this thick.
I mean, there were no scholarship limits. You could do what he wanted. And there's more pressure to win today, not just because of the money, because of social media, because you're under the gun 24/7 from everybody about everything. And it's amazing more coaches haven't died of heart attacks or stress because how much you're under the gun.
Well, here's, you asked me to put the fourth face up there on Mount Rushmore, and I like Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
He's a guy who left Florida after the unbelievable success that he had. One of the stories was that it's because he had bad health.
Yeah.
Heard other stories too, this and that. But anyway, so Clemson is in the ACC, which of the Power 5 conferences is probably in a tie for fourth with the Big 12. Because I got the Pac-12, the Big Ten, and the SEC above them. Okay.
And not this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you give them fifth, or you let them break ahead of the Big 12?
I think the ACC is near the top. I mean,
okay, all right.
Because you think about who. I know Louisville lost. LSU blitzed them pretty good, but Florida State won, Clemson won. You mean SEC was like 6 and 7, I think, in bowls. I think.
Clemson is a rural school in the middle of nowhere in South Carolina, a real nice place, but small. You always feel like comparisons between Auburn and Clemson in my mind, but I think it's even smaller than that. But yet, here's a team that now 2 years in a row either challenges for or wins a national championship and is developing quite a program. How does that happen at Clemson?
You get a guy who's a really good recruiter like Dabo Swinney, and he's very charismatic, likable, seems like a normal guy.
Oh, no. He can't seem like a normal
guy.
I
mean, there's not much coach speak there. I mean, it's like looks like he has actual feelings. But like, hey, man, this is a human being. He's not trying to recruit me all the time when I talk to him. And I think that comes across. And I think today's players kind of like that. They like to be coached, but they don't want to be coached 24/7. They want to have a conversation with their coach as a human being. And I think a lot of times, a lot of these coaches are just so on all the time that they just can't. And I think that helps. And when you win like that, and and players in high school see that system, and then especially offensively, they go, man, I'd like to play there. That looks like fun. So the more you win in a certain system, if you have a head coach that you feel for some reason you can relate with somehow, recruits look for different things. Some look for coaches that they're going to like playing for. He's a fun guy to play for. I like his system. Some have strictly pros in mind. I'm going to go play for Nick Saban. I know he's going to put me in the pros. Everybody has their own little thing they want to do,
Yeah, well, it sounds like you could be playing right into the wheelhouse of LSU and Ed Ogeron with what you said, because he seems like a remarkably real human being.
Yeah.
Who gets it as far as people go and all that kind of stuff, and is not your stereotypical cookie cutter. You got to do it a certain way,
I think he's figured that out over the years, and I remember talking to LSU players, the seniors even after he was hired and towards the end of the year, and they were saying they never had this much fun playing football. He made it fun for them.
And you always got the impression that it was fun under Les Miles, and that the kids all loved him. So, I mean, maybe things went south there a little bit, but
I think they got tired at the start of this year, that they went out and they saw they were doing the same old things, and there was like this feeling of doom, like here we go again, and then we're slugging out in these 2.5, 3 hour practices, and our legs are dead. I mean, we need a change, and he doesn't know how to change it, and so Joe Leva changed it for him. And it came in with a new. Well, the thing about Ed, he came in and it wasn't just I'm the interim coach. He's like, okay, we're going to do. I've got some ideas how we're going to do things. We're going to shorten practices. We're going to spend more time in the film room. We have fresher legs. We're going to have fun. I'm going to dance. I
like it better when you do it in his voice, though.
Well, we have shorter practices. 90 minutes tops.
Can you say we got to go to break?
Got to go to break. First show, January 2017. Go ahead, Lee. Take it over.
It's Ron Higgins. You can read his stuff at NOLA.com. He's covered the SEC longer than almost anybody in sports writing existence in today's world. I'm Lee Feinswag. I've been around a long time, too, but I got nothing on this guy. It's Sports 225, and we'll be right back. Oh, hi. I was checking out Yelphi. I do it all the time, all day, because it brings me all the news I need to know in sports. I mean, I've got a customized news feed, real-time scores. It's integrated with Facebook and Twitter. You download it on iTunes, Yelphi, Y-E-L-L-F-Y. It's a great app and a fantastic Twitter feed. We're back on Sports 225. I'm Lee Feinswag, hanging out with Ron Higgins from NOLA.com. He was born and raised in Baton Rouge High, LSU. Worked for The Advocate. Broke away to Memphis. Went to Mobile. Went back to Memphis. Came back to Baton Rouge to work for NOLA.com about, we're getting on close to 4 years now.
It's 4 years before, I went through this fourth football season,
Yeah. This man has been around the block. He's seen a few things. He loves his football. He loves his hoops. Have you made your switch yet in your brain from football to hoops yet?
Unfortunately, yes. From what I've seen of LSU's basketball, I'm sorry.
Does he, you know, like if you're backing up right after you scored in basketball, and the other team gets by you and lays it up and it goes in that hole, you think they understand that the other team gets points for that?
They haven't got that concept yet. Also, the concept that maybe you should start dropping your guards as soon as a shot goes up, so you'll have two guys back. That would probably help too. And the fact that maybe you should guard somebody would probably be a really good concept, especially the three-point line, because I understand they give you an extra point behind that line. And some of the guys who play LSU have been so wide open, like the other day, and we played Mississippi State, that when the state player caught the ball behind the three-point line, he had time to rotate the ball in his hands to find the seam before he shot. Several times. He caught it and he rotated to find the seam before he shot. I'm like, holy moly! They're just not very good. They don't have a leader out there, and they don't talk on defense. They don't do the basics. I mean, things that are done, between a bunch of old white guys at a YMCA game at noon. You play defense and you communicate. You're talking. Pick coming right. Okay. A guy baseline right behind you. There's no talk now. It's like watching, a show with a ventriloquist and all its dummies, and they don't say anything to each other. They don't say anything. It's just disconcerting to see the same stuff over and over again.
Well, a couple things. When Johnny Jones was on the show, and he admitted that last year this was not a team that played good enough defense, and recognized that it was a problem. And you got the impression from talking to him this would be a point of emphasis and something they'd work on. So he may have players that are just totally uncoachable or don't get it. And then the other thing, what I saw after the Vanderbilt game, was this kid Brandon Jenkins who'd been out, came and played, and he only played a little bit, but I really liked what I saw. And I really like Antonio Blakeney. I think he's a real good player. I think he's got an NBA future. And there's 4 or 5 other guys who I like, but they're all small. And I'm thinking to myself, well, if it's me at this point, I would just go small and take my chances. Because A, I'm not winning this way, and B, I just get after it. I'd go ahead, I've got enough small guys and a few bigs that I can sprinkle in. I'll start pressing, almost 40 minutes, give them 40 minutes of hell, run every opportunity I can, and just put the pressure on, because right now it's not working the other way.
I'd find about 7 guys who want to play defense. Do you want to play? You're not. Because you're not. The moment I see you not playing defense, you come sit right here. We will play defense. I don't care if you score or not. I want you to play defense, because I feel like we play defense, we're probably going to get some points off of transition if you play defense. And they just don't do that.
Well, and that's, I didn't get to watch a Mississippi State game. I saw bits and pieces.
Aren't you lucky?
And then, I know, but it was keeping up with the score as it was going. And I was actually around Rudy Macklin and Big Collis Temple, and they were just, they were watching it on their iPhones and just besides themselves. But the Vanderbilt game, I'm not sure LSU had 3 baskets in transition. And how can you have the athletes they have? Because they got some kids who can run.
I'm trying to remember the state. I think they were scored out like maybe 18-2 by State in transition points, something like that. And State's point guard was a kid from New Orleans, freshman, who looked like a really great point guard, a little left-handed guy, had a true point guard. More insult to injury, but it's just. Fundamentally, they don't do things correct, especially defensively, and it just breaks everything else down. I mean, and it's bad for Johnny, because if you lose and you lose like you're getting better, or you look like you're in it, it's one thing. But to lose and just look like totally clueless and making the same mistakes doesn't bode well. It doesn't bode well for him.
I agree. And it's tough to watch.
It really is. Because
I was, so often in college basketball history has shown us this. You lose a really good player, like in their case, Ben Simmons, but then the next year they're better, and for whatever reason. And I really thought, with the combination of players they have, and I love some of the young kids.
You thought the chemistry would be better.
Well, I love Mays, I love Sims.
Yeah.
I love, like I said, Blakeney. I just thought, but it's just not happening. And it's early. It's like they still got a chance, and we'll give them that chance. But I have a feeling that you usually come on about once a month. When we have our early to mid-February conversation right here, I think we'll
have a better grasp. But right now they got to stop looking at each other and expecting each other to make a play.
Yeah.
And they
cover somebody and go to the glass.
Yeah, and move the ball. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't hesitate. Move the ball.
All right. I got a couple conceptual questions for you.
Okay.
I want to throw at you right after we get back from the break.
Okay.
All right. Good. He's Ron Higgins. He covers LSU and the SEC and other stuff for NOLA.com. I'm Lee Feinswag. It's Sports 225.
It was nearly a decade ago that Brett teamed up to Imagine Your Parks, and you imagine big. 12 beautiful community parks from one end of the parish to the other, one family-sized water park, and 5 other parks just for your dogs. You have places to splash and places to explore. You have games to play and camps galore. No matter what you like to do or see, visit Breck.org and see how together we have made Breck better than imagined.
Coming down the home stretch of the first show of 2017. Just a little bit of time left here with Ron Higgins from NOLA.com. Remember to go to sports225.com. You can watch any show that we've done here since we went to a half-hour format back in August of 2016. Sports225.com has your show listings and other cool stuff. Thanks to John Williams from JCW, thinkjcw.com, a creative agency doing all of our stuff behind the scenes. And Ron Higgins is here. So if I made you the czar of college football for the day and you could make any 2 or 3 changes you wanted to make, what would you do? And I didn't prep him on this.
I would actually like, when somebody gets hit in the head with a helmet, actually make the targeting call instead of going to, ignoring it basically. He didn't get hit. The guy's knocked senseless and he's over the sideline. No, he just hit him with a shoulder pad. I mean, I think they should clean up the targeting stuff for sure. I would go to 18 playoff. I mean, I would, but I wouldn't go past that. I don't believe there's 16 teams in the nation deserve to play for a national championship, but there are 8, and that covers all the major conferences and sort of other people. Probably those 2 things right off.
Those are good. Now, if I made you the czar of college basketball for the day, I know what mine would be. The first thing I would do, but I'm curious. You get a couple rules. You could do anything you want and change the game.
First thing I'd do would be do away with the freshman rule of the NBA. If you want to go out of high school, you go out of high school. This stuff is staying in 1 year and going.
Not helping anybody, is it?
It's not helping anybody. Either that, or do it like baseball. If you don't get drafted out of high school and go, you have to stay through your junior year.
With you, I agree with that rule completely.
And I think there should be a 4-point line.
I hate you, because the first thing I would do if I were the czar of all basketball would be eliminate the 3-point shot. I hate it. I think it's ruined the game the way the game is supposed to be played. I can't stand it.
Yeah,
a bunch of guys just standing around. The mid-range jumper gone forever.
I know,
Makes me sad.
But the people who actually make mid-range jumpers, they go to the NBA and make some money because they understand there's a value to making mid-range jumpers. And the guys that know how to do that understand, well the NBA scouts, that guy can make a mid-range.
And that's, back to what we were saying about LSU's Antonio Blakeney. He understands that.
He
understands
that shot. Yeah, he understands, it's okay for a stop and pop 15-footer. It's acceptable. It's all right. It's not against the rules.
You got 30 seconds. He's Ron Higgins from NOLA.com, so in case we have to get out of here in a hurry. 2017, excited about the sports year?
Absolutely. I mean, I always look forward to it. I look for LSU baseball. They find them a 3rd pitcher. They'll have a shot at Omaha. LSU football, I'm excited about Matt Canada coming in. Well, actually, comes a new era of offense. I mean, yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I'm excited that you came to the studio today. It's always fun to hang out.
And I'm still breathing.
Mad Dog Higgins. All right. Thanks to everybody. This has been Sports 225. Fade away.
At carnival time by Baton Rouge Bay, that's the site of my story. At Spanish Town Mardi Gras, things can get blurry. See the mowers marching, prizes fill the sky. This Spanish Town Mardi Gras, may it never die. Poetry was everywhere, sweet music filled the air, and just then she glanced my way.